There are 7 advantages that human beings enjoy that other species don't enjoy. First of all, let's understand what those 7 are, and after that we'll understand those 7 advantages is not the reason. The reason is something else, but let's see the 7 advantages. 1, we can stand on 2 legs and the other animals cannot, most of them. What is the advantage of bipedal nature, standing on 2 legs? There are 2 major advantages because of this. 1, if I'm on all fours, all 4 limbs, I'll be able to see my predator only maybe 5-10 feet. Do you agree? Because it was all jungle, so it must have been a lot of shrub and all of that around, so shrubbery around. The moment one can stand, you can see up to the horizon. So you can see all your predators, number 1. Number 2, now my hands are free, so I can make tools to kill the animals. The animals have never been able to make any tools. 2 advantages that we can stand on 2 legs. 1, our vision is much more, so we can see all our predators. 2, our hands are free to make tools. And those tools are the first reason that we outnumber them, because their populations, over a period of time, animal populations would decrease or not, because we have the tools to kill them. That's 1. But populations would not be the only reason. Second, you would not believe, this one advantage called an opposable thumb. Our fingers and thumb can move in opposite directions. Any other animal that you know of who's, forget chimpanzees and all, because that's almost close to human species. Any other animals that you know of whose fingers and thumb can move in opposite directions? Really no. Very unlikely. If this advantage alone had not been there, an opposable thumb, we would have made 0 progress from the jungles. If you cannot hold a stick also, how will you make a tool? You can't hold a gun, you can't type, you can't do anything. Imagine a simple thing like holding a physical lock, locking and unlocking a lock, physical lock. How many muscles are used in an activity as easy as this? What do you think? Locking and unlocking a physical lock. One of the most complex human activities would be this. No animal in the world can perform this. No animal in the world can perform this. So an opposable thumb is an extraordinary advantage that we enjoy as human beings. We don't realize this, but remove one thing, that our thumb also moves in the same direction as fingers, we would have been in the caves or jungles exactly. You cannot do anything that you are able to do. Right now, imagine if the thumb, would you be able to hold anything in your hands? Nothing of any progress. Forget technology, forget all of that is way later. You could not have held a stick in your hands. Forget that. An opposable thumb. The third, very strong, a very high brain to body weight ratio. Human beings have a very high brain to body weight ratio. To run a body of this size, what is the size of the brain needed, I asked you? 5 cc maybe, 50 cc. And we have 1350 to 1500 cc. So what do you do with it? So you think, ये सारे सवाल कि मैं कौन हूँ, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ. Animals को कभी ये सवाल नहीं आते. But that is what you could not have thought. So a very high brain to body weight ratio elevates us above almost every other animal. The fourth advantage is humans have a year-long reproductive cycle. Right? Year-long reproductive cycle, right or no? You can produce babies whenever you want. Animals don't. Let's say deer population. By adjusting for millions of years of predator-prey dynamics, the way evolution has really made them, the deer can reproduce only in a certain time of the year. Which time? Which season? Obviously rainy, because there will be grass to eat and so on. So rainy season is when they reproduce the most. Now if rains don't happen, if rain doesn't happen, they cannot change this. So the young foal would not have any grass to eat and be strong and run. So the predators would kill them. So their populations will always shrink because they can reproduce only at a particular time of the year, not all the time. It's an extraordinary advantage we don't realize. The next big advantage is even if brain to body weight ratio is high, we have a neocortex and the frontal brain. We talked about it. Because if you remove thought from human equation, what does brain do to us? It makes us remove thought from human equation. There would have been no music, there would have been no mathematics, there would have been no pyramids, there would have been no processors, there would have been no trip to the moon, nothing. We would have been exactly in the caves as there. The sixth major advantage is speech. Do you think speech is a big advantage or not? What distinguishes us from animals? First thing, the what comes to your mind? Talk. We can talk, we can communicate. Imagine we can't talk. Imagine speech not being there. There is no speech with animals. So how do you really communicate? So teamwork doesn't happen. Nothing happens, frankly, if you can't talk to each other. Nothing happens. Communication is the bedrock of human existence. And the seventh is language. Speech is very different. Language is very different. What's the difference between speech and language, by the way? Syntactically correct language to exactly express what I am thinking or feeling is language. These 7 reasons I gave you, but the reasons are not these 7. The reason is the probability of all these 7 happening to one species at one point of time was 0. The probability of happening of all of these to one single species, do you think it's a very strong probability or almost accidental? So human intelligence on this planet is not a designed phenomenon. It's an absolutely accidental phenomenon. If you read evolution, you'll get all the answers. Evolution has been one of my very, very favorite subjects for many reasons, and it explains everything.